I'm going to show you how to solder rings on here. I've got a container that looks like this. Is a little old film container, and inside there are some little copper rings, okay? So what you'll do is we're going to solder them on there. Now this project's a little bit difficult because she wants the ring about right here and right here, and that's a spot that sort of goes in here, okay? So what we're going to do is, the hard part is we need that ring to sit right on the edge right there. And that's very hard to do because you're trying to solder with two hands. How are we going to get that to stay on the edge and solder it? So this is what we're going to do. These are little strips of mat board. You can find scraps like this. And basically, I'm going to stack these on top of each other until I get them the same height, until they end up being the same height as this, okay? So once, and you might take, maybe 2 strips or 3 strips or 4 strips or whatever it takes to get this the same height as that right there, okay? So what I'm gonna do then is, once I get that the same height, I'm gonna tape that down so that these strips don't move. So I'm just gonna put a little piece of tape over the strips, hold those down so I can tape that right there. Then I'm gonna take my ring. Now, if the ring is a little bit bent up, what you'll be doing is, I've got some little pliers here, and what you'll do is grab the end of this ring and make sure that the ring isn't bent and that the opening is just about right where it should be. So you might have to take that ring and you might have to grab it like this and pinch it a little bit so you close up that opening. Can you see that right there? So I'm gonna close that up, and I can use my two needle nose pliers here, and I'm gonna bend that so that opening is right where it should be. Now I'm gonna take this ring and I'm gonna lay it on the cardboard and right on the edge of where we want to solder it. Does that look okay?
Yeah.
So the opening now, it's hard to see, but the opening of the ring is laying right there. You can see it's right on the solder itself, okay? Now I'm gonna take my flux and I'm gonna flux the ring and the stained glass at the same time. I'm trying not to bump this and move the ring, okay? And then the last thing I'm gonna do is basically melt solder over the top of that ring so the ends of the ring are buried into the solder. So we'll watch that really quick. I'm cleaning off my soldering iron right now. I'm gonna grab my solder. Here's the solder coming in. Here's this, and I'm just going to melt this. Hold on. Let's see. So I'm gonna do this. There you go. So the ends of the ring are now buried in the solder. The ring is sticking out, and this is going to be, now I'll do the same thing over here. I'll probably shift this over, and I'll do the same thing right there. So I put the ring there, and what I like doing also, I didn't do it this time, I should have, is you take that ring and actually you can tape it so it doesn't move. So I'm just gonna grab another ring. Let's say that, I won't do this right now, but this ring, let's say I close this up and I lay it right there. I'll put just a little piece of tape on my ring, just so that it doesn't move around, okay? But obviously this one isn't lined up. Right now my paper is too high. It's hard to see that. So I'm gonna remove one of these little slices of paper so that this is a little bit lower. I'm gonna take my ring and bend it so it's closed, okay? I'll use a little pliers to do that, and I'll lay that in place. I guess let's do that right now. So let's take that wire and let's do this. I'm gonna close that up. Just like this. Okay. And I'll have to do some more bending and maneuvering with my wire cut, with my pliers here, to get that to line up. But basically I'm gonna put this right here with the opening on the solder. I'm gonna put a little piece of tape right there, just holding that ring so it doesn't move, and then I'll solder that down. Okay, that's it.